In this video, we'll be discussing JavaScript maps. So you may be wondering, what is a map? Well, a map creates a new array by applying a function to each element. So let's go through an example. But before I go through this example, please like the video and subscribe. So in this example, we want to create a new array where each number is doubled. So as you can see, I've created a new array that holds the values 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the goal is that we want 1 to become 2, 2 to become 4, 3 to become 6, and so on. So let's create a map. So we want to define a variable that holds a map. So we want to take the array numbers, dot map, and we want to take each element. So we'll call each element number, use an arrow function, and we're going to take number times 2. So within the new doubled array, it will be holding the value of number multiplied by 2 rather than just number. So let's print this out. And as you can see, it has printed out each value in the array, but doubled now. So something to remember is that map doesn't change the original array, it returns a new one, as you can see in this case. We are not reprinting numbers, we are printing a new variable called doubled. Okay, so now let's go through another example. I'm going to get rid of this and this. And for this example, we want to take numbers and number and index and add them together. So the output for the new array should be 1, 3, 5, and so on. And of course, it's because we're taking number 1 and index 0. 1 plus 0 equals 1. 2 plus index 1 equals 3, and so on. So let's give this a try. So we're going to say let plus index equal numbers. So we're taking this array again and mapping it. And we want to take the number and the index. We're going to do an arrow function again, and we want to add the two elements together. So let's print this out. And it has given us the proper output. 1, because index 0 plus 1 plus number 1 equals 1. 1 plus 2, because index 1 is 3. Then it becomes 2 plus 3, which equals 5. 4 plus 3, which is 7. And 5 plus 4 equals 9. So that's correct. That is how you do this with accessing the index and then adding the number plus the index as our new array. So now let's work with strings here. So what I want to do is I'm going to get rid of this. And what I want to do is I want to create an array here called fruits that holds the value apple, banana, and cherry, holds the values apple, banana, and cherry. And what we want to do in this case is we want to use map to convert each letter of the string values here to uppercase. So let's give this a try. So we have to create a new variable called upper fruits, and we want to take the original array and map it, and we're going to take each individual fruit and take the fruit again, and we're going to change them to uppercase. And then we're going to print out the newly created array. And as you can see, they have been converted into uppercase. So that is how we use map to work with strings. So now what I want to do is I want to use map with combining split and join, so two methods that we have used in earlier videos. So let me write down the requirements here. So we want to split a sentence into words and transform each word with map. and then we want to join them back together using join. And we want to join them back into a single string. So let me declare a variable here, and we're going to create a sentence that says map makes things easy. So to start this, we want to create a new sentence, and we want to say sentence dot split. So we want to split this into an array, and then we want to map this, and we're going to take each individual word, and let's say we want to add an exclamation mark to the end of each word. So we'll do that, and then we're going to rejoin to create it back into a sentence, and now let's print. So let's run this, and yep, it has exclamation marks at the end of each word now. So this occurs because we split the sentence into individual elements in an array. We mapped each element and put an exclamation mark at the end of each word, and then we joined it back together into a sentence, and it has created map makes things easy with exclamation marks at the end of each word. Okay, so let's go through another example here. And this is going to be the final example of the video. So we're going to convert an array of numbers into an array of objects. So each object contains the original number and its square. So what we want to do here is we are going to create an array. And let's say it's called let numbers equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to create a new variable called number objects. And we're going to take the array numbers and map it. And we're going to take each individual number, and we're going to create an object. And the object is going to hold the value, which is going to be number, and then we are going to square each number. And then we're going to print this out. Let's run this. And it creates us a few objects within here, so we of course want to JSON.stringify this. And it gives us the correct output. So it gives us the value and the squared value when it takes the number and multiplies it by itself. So there are a few things I want you to remember about maps. So remember that map always returns a new array, leaving the original array untouched, and you should always use it to transform data, work with strings, or create new objects. So I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next video.